I found out she slept with her ex the same night we had our first date. When I confronted her, she rolled her eyes and said, "That was years ago. Let it go." I didn't argue. I just forwarded the screenshots to her entire family group chat. She spent the next week begging everyone to talk to her again. Before we start, I just want to say thank you for being here. It means the world. But take a look at this. Only 8% of people watching are subscribed. If you enjoy these stories and want to support more of them, just one click makes a huge difference. Hard to believe, it's only been a month since my life got flipped upside down and then right side up again. I'm a 38-year-old construction project manager, divorced about 5 years ago when my ex decided our marriage was less interesting than her yoga instructor. Been on my own since then, focused on work and rebuilding my life. Last year I met Daisy, 36, at a friend's barbecue. She had that kind of easy laugh that makes you want to hear it again. Smart as hell too. Runs operations for a medical supply company. We hit it off immediately, traded numbers, and I called her the next day to set up a proper date. Our first date was at this Italian place downtown. Nothing fancy, but the food was good and the conversation was better. We talked for hours about books, travel, our jobs, even touched on politics without it turning ugly. When I dropped her off at her place, we shared a brief kiss, and I went home feeling like maybe, just maybe, I'd found someone worth building something with. Fast forward 9 months. Things were good between us. We'd settled into a comfortable routine. She'd stay at my place on weekends. I'd hang at hers during the week sometimes. We'd met each other's friends, and I'd been introduced to her family at her nephew's christening. Her brother Tim and I got along great, both of us into fishing and old muscle cars. Her parents seemed to approve, especially her dad, who kept hinting about his retirement cabin that would make a great wedding venue someday. No red flags, no warning signs, just a solid relationship between two adults who'd been through enough bullshit to appreciate something real. Or so I thought. Last month, Daisy and I were at my place on a Saturday night. We'd made dinner together, opened a good bottle of wine, and were just relaxing on the couch watching a movie. Daisy had fallen asleep against my shoulder, and her phone kept buzzing with text notifications. Not wanting to wake her, I carefully picked it up off the coffee table to silence it. That's when I saw the name Marcus on the screen, along with part of a message that read, "Remember that night after your first date with." Marcus, her ex, the one she dated for 2 years before me, the one she claimed she hadn't spoken to since their breakup. I'm not proud of what I did next, but I'd be lying if I said I regretted it. I opened the message, then scrolled up to see the whole conversation. What I found made my stomach drop. Marcus, "Hey stranger, long time no talk. How's life treating you?" Marcus, "This is unexpected. I'm good, really good actually. You?" "Can't complain. Saw your update on LinkedIn. Big promotion, congrats. Still with that construction guy?" "Thanks, and yes, still with James. It's been about 9 months now." "Wow, that's practically married for you, lol." Very funny. He's different, more stable. Stable enough to handle that you slept with me the same night as your first date with him? Still think about that sometimes. Shut up, that was a mistake. I was confused. We had just broken up, remember? Didn't seem confused when you showed up at my door at midnight. Or when you left his jacket in my car. Can we not? That was a long time ago. I'm happy now. Just teasing. I'm happy for you. But that was a wild night though. The conversation continued with more reminiscing about their past relationship, getting increasingly explicit about that particular night, the night of our first date. The night I'd gone home thinking I'd met someone special, while she'd gone straight to her ex's place afterward. I took screenshots. All of them. Then put her phone back on the table and sat there in the dark, letting the movie play while my mind raced. When Daisy woke up about half an hour later, I was still sitting there, staring blankly at the TV. "How long was I out?" she mumbled, stretching. "About an hour," I replied, keeping my voice neutral. "Your phone kept buzzing. Might want to check it." She picked up her phone, saw the texts, and her face changed. Just for a second, but enough that I noticed. She quickly locked the screen. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just work stuff," she lied smoothly. "Want another glass of wine?" I declined, and we finished the movie in silence. She didn't seem to notice anything was off, probably chalking up my quietness to being tired. We went to bed, and I lay awake most of the night, thinking about what to do. The next morning over coffee, I decided to just confront her directly. So Marcus reached out to you? I asked casually. She paused, coffee mug halfway to her lips. Yeah. Just checking in. How did you know? I saw his name on your phone last night when it was buzzing. She nodded, seemingly relieved that was all I knew. Yeah, random text out of the blue. I hadn't talked to him in ages. Now there was lie number 2. But I pushed further. Anything interesting come up in the conversation? Her eyes narrowed slightly. Not really, just catching up. Why? Did the night of our first date come up at all? The color drained from her face. She set her mug down carefully. What exactly are you asking me, James? I'm asking if you slept with Marcus the same night as our first date. The night you told me you were going home to prepare for an early meeting. She stared at me for a long moment, then her expression shifted from shock to irritation. Did you go through my phone? Not denial. Not an explanation. Just an accusation to flip the script. Classic. You didn't answer my question, I said. She sighed dramatically. Fine. Yes, I saw Marcus after our date. It was years ago, James. Let it go. Years ago? It was 9 months ago. And you lied about it then, and you're lying about it now by saying you hadn't talked to him in ages. She rolled her eyes, actually rolled her eyes at me. Oh my God, are you seriously making this into a thing? We had one date. We weren't exclusive. I wasn't even sure I liked you yet. You kissed me goodnight, told me you had an early meeting, then drove straight to your ex's place to sleep with him. Then you came back for a second date with me without mentioning it. That's not about exclusivity, Daisy. That's about basic respect and honesty. It was one night, she said, voice rising. It didn't mean anything. Marcus and I had just broken up. I was confused, but I chose you. Isn't that what matters? I looked at her, really looked at her. This woman I thought I knew, this person I'd been planning a future with, and all I saw was someone I couldn't trust. No, I said quietly. What matters is that you've been lying for our entire relationship, and you're still lying now, saying it didn't mean anything when you were just reminiscing about it with him yesterday. Her face went pale. You did read my messages. That's an invasion of privacy. Yep, and I took screenshots too. She switched tactics immediately, eyes softening, voice going gentle. James, baby, I'm sorry. I should have told you, but it was so long ago and I didn't want to hurt you over something that happened before we were even really together. Too late. I'd already seen the real Daisy. I think you should go, I said. Are you serious? You're throwing away 9 months over something that happened before we were even a couple? No, I'm ending things because you lied then, and you're lying now, and you'd keep lying if I hadn't seen those texts. She grabbed her purse, anger replacing the fake gentleness. Fine. Call me when you grow up and realize relationships have complicated beginnings sometimes. Don't hold your breath, I replied. She slammed the door on her way out. I spent the rest of Sunday cleaning my house, removing every trace of Daisy, packed up the clothes she kept in my dresser, the toiletries in my bathroom, the books on my nightstand, boxed up the framed photos, the birthday gifts, the little mementos, took down the vacation pictures from my fridge. By evening, it was like she'd never been there at all. Monday morning, I got a text from her. I think we should talk when we're both calmer. Can I come by tonight? I didn't respond. Instead, I did something I'm not particularly proud of, but can't say I regret either. Remember how I mentioned I'd met her family? Well, about 3 months into our relationship, Daisy had added me to their family group chat. It was mostly her parents, her 2 brothers and their wives, and her sister sharing updates, planning gatherings, and sending each other memes about wine and teenagers. I'd been a silent participant, occasionally responding to direct questions, but mostly just observing. I'd never left the chat, even though it had been quiet lately. And Daisy had apparently forgotten I was still in it. So I forwarded the screenshots there. All of them. With a brief message. I'm sorry to do this in such a public way, but I thought you should all know why Daisy and I won't be at Sunday dinner anymore. I've just learned that our relationship was built on lies from the very first night. I valued getting to know all of you and wish you the best. Then I left the chat and blocked Daisy's number. Was it mature? No. Was it necessary? Also no. But after being lied to for 9 months and then being told to grow up when I confronted those lies, something in me just snapped. Her family had welcomed me, trusted me, treated me like one of their own. And all while Daisy was living a double life, lying to all of us. The fallout was nuclear, from what I heard later. Her brother Tim called me that evening, not to yell, but to check if I was okay. Said the family chat had exploded after my message. Dad's beside himself, Tim told me. You know how he is about honesty and respect. Mom's not speaking to her. And Daisy, man, she's been blowing up everyone's phones trying to explain, but no one's really buying it. I felt a twinge of guilt, but not enough to regret it. I didn't do it to turn her family against her, I said. I just couldn't stomach the lies anymore. I get it, Tim replied. For what it's worth, I think you're a good guy who got a raw deal. If you ever want to grab a beer or hit the lake, the invitation stands. Over the next week, I heard from various mutual friends that Daisy was in crisis mode. She'd shown up at her parents' house unannounced and been turned away at the door. Her sister canceled their weekly lunch. Her nephew's baseball game, which she never missed, went on without her in the stands. One of our mutual friends, Kelly, called to tell me Daisy was telling everyone I'd overreacted and publicly shamed her over nothing. She keeps saying it was before you were exclusive, Kelly said. Is that true? Technically, yes, I admitted. But it was the same night as our first date, and she's been lying about it for 9 months, even when directly confronted. Kelly whistled. Damn, that's cold. No wonder her family's freezing her out. 2 weeks in, Daisy showed up at my job site. I was overseeing a commercial renovation downtown, and she just appeared, looking like she hadn't slept in days. Please, she said. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I walked her to a coffee shop across the street, not wanting to make a scene in front of my crew. My family won't talk to me, she said once we were seated. My dad says I've embarrassed them. My mom keeps saying she raised me better than this. Even my nephews know something's wrong. That sounds difficult, I replied, not offering more. Difficult. It's a nightmare. And for what? Because I slept with someone before we were even officially dating? Because I didn't want to hurt you with information that wasn't relevant anymore? I shook my head. No, because you lied. Repeatedly. When I asked you directly about Marcus, you lied. When I asked about the night of our first date, you lied. You only admitted it when confronted with evidence. And even then, you tried to make me the bad guy for finding out. So you decided to nuke my entire family life? Seems proportional, she said bitterly. I didn't decide anything about your family life. I just shared the truth. How they reacted to that truth is between you and them. They won't even let me explain. What's to explain? That you're sorry they found out? That you wish I'd kept your secrets? That lying is okay as long as no one discovers it? She had no answer for that. I didn't send those screenshots to hurt you, Daisy. I sent them because after 9 months of being welcomed by your family, I felt they deserved to know why I was suddenly gone. I could have made up some story about us growing apart, but then I'd be lying too. She wiped away tears. Please tell them to talk to me again. They'll listen to you. No, I said, standing up. Your relationship with your family is your responsibility, not mine. Maybe start by being honest with them for once. I left her there at the coffee shop, and that was the last time I saw her. A month later, I'm doing okay. Started therapy to work through trust issues from both my failed marriage and this relationship disaster. Reconnected with old friends I'd neglected while wrapped up with Daisy. Even went fishing with Tim last weekend. Turns out family ties sometimes survive even when relationships don't. I heard through the grapevine that Daisy eventually patched things up with her parents after several heart-to-heart conversations and what Tim described as a come-to-Jesus meeting with Dad that lasted 5 hours. Apparently, the Marcus incident was just the tip of the iceberg. Once her family started questioning her narratives, other deceptions came to light. Marcus reached out to me too, strangely enough. Said he had no idea Daisy and I had gotten serious, that she'd told him we were casual and seeing other people. Apologized for his part in it all. As for me, I'm taking time to figure out what I want next. There's a certain peace in being alone after discovering you've been with someone who wasn't who they claimed to be. I'm in no rush to replace that peace with another relationship. Sometimes the most satisfying revenge isn't planned at all. It's just letting the truth speak for itself, loud enough for everyone to hear. Update: 6 weeks later, this post got way more attention than I expected. Thanks for all the support and also for the tough questions that made me think. Trying to address the main points that keep coming up. To everyone asking if I violated privacy laws by sharing her texts, no. While it was admittedly not my finest moment morally speaking, in my state there's no legal issue with sharing communications that were sent directly to me. I didn't hack her accounts or devices, I saw messages on her unlocked phone that were visible on her screen, then opened them. Not proud of it, but not illegal either. For those suggesting I should have just broken up with her without involving her family. I get where you're coming from. In hindsight, maybe that would have been cleaner. But after 9 months of being integrated into their lives, attending family functions and building relationships, I felt they deserved to know why I suddenly disappeared. They had welcomed me as practically family. Her dad was literally talking about wedding venues. Walking away with a vague excuse felt dishonest. About Marcus, several people asked if I think he did this deliberately to break us up. I wondered that too. From our conversation after everything went down, I don't think so. He genuinely seemed surprised that Daisy and I were serious. She'd apparently been downplaying our relationship to him, just like she'd been hiding their ongoing communication from me. Classic triangulation. Some have asked why her family reacted so strongly to what might seem like a minor transgression. It wasn't just about her sleeping with someone else before we were exclusive. It was about the pattern of deception her family recognized once they started looking closer. According to Tim, there were other situations where Daisy had rewritten history over the years. This incident just finally pulled back the curtain. The comment that hit hardest was from someone who said I was being a sanctimonious prick about a woman's sexual freedom. Let me be clear, I don't care who she slept with before we were exclusive. I care that she lied about it repeatedly, directly to my face, for 9 months, and then tried to make me the bad guy for finding out. That's not about sexual freedom. It's about basic honesty and respect. For those who've asked about my ex-wife and if there's a pattern of me getting cheated on. Fair question. My marriage ended when my ex fell for her yoga instructor. Yes, but that was a completely different situation. She told me directly. We tried counseling and eventually separated. It was painful but honest. This situation with Daisy was all about deception from day one. Finally, for the people DMing me about legal repercussions from her family group chat, nothing happened. There's no defamation when you're sharing factual information, and I didn't write anything inflammatory, just shared the screenshots and explained I wouldn't be at Sunday dinner anymore. Life update since posting: I'm still single, still in therapy, which has been helpful, and actually went on a fishing trip with Tim and his dad last weekend. Some connections survive even when relationships don't. I've been focusing on work and just bought an old Mustang to restore. Something I've wanted to do for years but never found the time for when I was with Daisy. As for her, I heard she's moved to her company's branch office in another state. Fresh start, I guess. I wish her well, genuinely. I just wish her well from a very great distance.